Hello and welcome to the United Stand. It feels ages. It feels absolutely ages since I was live with you, but we're back. We're back in the studio 24 hours after the end of the transfer deadline, which I'm glad it's over. I'm glad it's over. There's a few questions we're going to discuss tonight. One, Ander Herrera, 1 year left on his contract. Where does he fit in? 2, will we live to regret not signing a winger? 3, have we got enough to win a title? But first of all, I just wanted to, I'm happily, I'm even wearing the blue. Ha-hee-ha. I am saying this categorically now. You can jump on the bandwagon if you believe it, or you can ignore it if you don't. But Antoine Griezmann will sign for Manchester United next summer. He was going to sign this summer, and we know why. His agent came out this week and said it's because of the Atletico Madrid transfer ban. The little hints he had in May about I'm 6 out of 10 that I'm going to come to Manchester United, the fact that he gets on well with Pogba, the fact that he's looking to move to another club and he won't go to Barcelona or Real Madrid. Griezmann will be a Manchester United player next summer, and he will wear the number 7 shirt, which I wanted to wait until after the transfer window because it's very easy to do a video in the transfer window and everyone goes, oh, fake news, clickbait, you're doing it because the transfer window's open. Which, to be honest with you, a lot of people do that when the transfers window's open. But I've been waiting for this for a few weeks because I firmly believe it. I wanted to wait until it was over. There's so many pointers that Griezmann will come to United. And the big one for me, well, it's not even the biggest one. I think it's obviously going to happen anyway. But the reality is we've left the number 7 shirt completely free for a season at Manchester United. And who does that? Why would we do that? We know it was left free because Memphis left in January, but to leave it free for a whole season, Manchester United's most iconic shirt, why would we do that? Why would we not give it to somebody else who's part of the squad? Why would we not go and sign somebody else? There's some agreement. There's some agreement there, and fair play to Mourinho, fair play for United that they've taken that on the chin from Griezmann. I personally, massive fan of Antoine Griezmann. I think he fits United like a glove. He wears the number 7 shirt. He can play in any of those 3 positions behind Lukaku, centrally on either side. I think he'd eat the Premier League up for breakfast and we'd win the league with him in the team. And I've been saying that for 2 or 3 years. I was frustrated by him. I was very, very frustrated by him. I felt he led us up the path. He was coming to United, and then he's obviously said, look, morally I don't feel comfortable leaving Atletico Madrid in the lurch. But ultimately, you're not going to be an Atletico Madrid player anymore. You're going to be a Manchester United player. Fair play. Nobody else left Atletico Madrid either. So, you know what? We crack on. We go with what we've got. But believe what you want. Don't believe it if you don't want to. I'll guarantee you Antoine Griezmann will be a Manchester United player next summer. It is so obvious. And I would, you know what? Now the transfer window's shut, I think he's a fool. I think he's an absolute fool for not coming. But he's earned a lot of money out of it. It's not just about being loyal to Atletico Madrid. They did pay him a lot of money to do it, and they knocked the release clause up, doubled it. But it drops back down again in January. He won't sign in January. I'm not going to dwell on that. But a few people think he'll sign in January. He won't sign in January. He'll be cup tied. He's in the middle of his season. You don't do that sort of a signing in January. He will come next summer. And I think it will be announced very soon. I wouldn't be surprised if a bit like Memphis, it's announced in April sort of time. Certainly before the World Cup. I think by the end of May, he'll be announced as a United player and it'll be ding dang dong, that's done, he's a United player. And I'm fully expecting that to happen. So let's see what a few people think of that before I hit on some of the other things. Oh yes, England are playing tonight. Wow, England are playing Malta tonight. A rubbish England side managed by a clown with a clown in goal playing a pub team. Great way to spend your Friday night. I've got a better idea. Talk about the club you love, Manchester United, on the United Stand. Got some big questions to answer. And then after this show, we've got, it's not the launch show, but we did a pilot this afternoon. That's football. Football, generic channel, new channel, link in the video description. We're live after this talking about the transfer window, who took the biggest L and who won the transfer window. And I think you're going to find it very interesting. If you love football, you'll love That's Football. And we'll be live on there, link in the video description for that channel. Want to take as many people over from the United Stand to the new channel as possible. Loads and loads of stuff going to be going on there in a generic football sense. But the United Stand stands alone as the biggest independent Manchester United fan channel, and it's going nowhere if you love Manchester United. So, Tom Hall has to bring it down, doesn't he? Go and watch England, Tom Hall. He says, Mark, stop the clickbait. Every one of your YouTube vids has had a ridiculous title just to get views. Oh, Tom, see you later. Bye-bye. Stephen Howson in disguise. Get lost, Tom. Negative. Go and live. Go and put the Bake Off on or something like that and watch a cake grow. How negative can you be? Poor Tom, you disappoint me. Look, Griezmann will be a Manchester United player next summer. Believe it or don't believe it. It is a theory backed up on a number of factors. No, the number 7 shirt has been left free. He was coming to Manchester United. He's got to stay at Atletico Madrid for another year. Griezmann's coming to Manchester United next summer. There is nothing clickbait or fake news about it at all. I firmly believe it's going to happen. I present the United stand. It is my opinion. I've not just gone and gone, what's trending at the moment? Ooh, Mbappe and Neymar. They're going to both sign for Manchester United next summer. Get it up, get the pictures up, draw T. That's what we're going with. We'll get loads of views off it. I mean, come on. The negativity of these people. Some people. Anyway, let's talk about some of the other stuff. Will we regret not signing a winger this summer was the next thing I wanted to talk about. Could have been Perisic. That was the one I wanted. We'll never get Perisic now. 28. It'll be 29 next summer. It won't happen. It was a one summer lottery and it's gone. Will we regret not having a winger? I regret it. I don't know about you. I'm very regretful that we haven't got a winger. I would like to see Andreas Pereira played out on the right because he can put a cross in. But apart from that, our ability to put a cross into the box is pretty much null and void. And that surprises me when you've got 6'3" Lukaku, Zlatan backing at any time, 6'5", and we still can't put a decent cross in. I think what it means for Manchester United is we will continue to play the way we are playing, and if that doesn't work, our plan B will probably be Fellaini off the bench, Zlatan and Lukaku, or one or the other. And what we'll do is we'll just hit we'll hit the long diagonal from the fullbacks. I think that's what we'll do, because we get in lots of good positions to put a cross in, but we really don't have anybody to do it. So we're not going to know whether we regret that decision until we don't win the league. But what I would say is what I saw in the United stand, and I totally agree with it on the Twitter account today. I look at this Manchester United squad, and we'll talk about it on That's Football in about half an hour about who's done well in the transfer window and who's not, because we are a United channel. I want to stick talking about United on here. But I do look at what all the business everybody else has done, and I think they've all failed. And I look at Manchester United, and I think we'll play great football this season, but I think there's also an opportunity to bully our way to the title. You know, you look at Pogba, you look at Lukaku, you look at Bailly, you look at Valencia, you look at Zlatan coming back, you even look at the likes of Matic, you look at Fellaini off the bench. We've got some big bullies, you know, some big units out there, beasts, and I think we'll dominate teams. I think physically, power, we can dominate teams, and that, you need that against the bottom half of the league, and Mourinho knows that. He did it with Chelsea many years. So I think that is a positive for United. It might not be pretty at times. We do have the flair if we need it in Rashford and Martial, but I think physically we're going to dominate teams this year, and I think we might bully our way to the titles, which, you know, might not be pretty at times, but it could work. Lucky Carl Rue, see you later. Pereira can't go on loan now. Window shut, says Carl Watkins. Big positive for that. Andres Pereira staying at United. France are a fantastic side. Shaz Watt, he was on about how good Pogba was last night. Luke Shaw, if Luke Shaw can come back and stay fit, then that is great news for United. We need it more than anything, because I'm not comfortable with our fullbacks. I really like Valencia, but I'm not comfortable with Daley Blind or Darmian. We need Luke Shaw back desperately. And the third point of the question was going to be, I want to talk about Herrera and Lindelof briefly, but I want to also talk about, have United got enough to win this title? And I suppose that falls similarly into the question of, will we regret signing a winger? We've got enough to win the title. I disagree with anybody who says that, you know, because the transfer window wasn't what I wanted and what I don't believe Mourinho wanted and what I believe a lot of you wanted. I mean, I read a comment today from a journalist, and it was something along the lines of, oh, you've got to applaud Mourinho and Manchester United. The value wasn't there to sign who they wanted, so they've just ignored it and gone with what they want. And I sort of thought to myself, well, nonsense. Do you sleep with Jose in the Lowry or something? Has he told you that he doesn't want to sign somebody? Because I'll tell you what, I think if Mourinho had £300 million yesterday, he would have gone and signed somebody. He would have signed a winger. I just I don't think the club wanted to go too big on somebody like a Perisic or a Mahrez. They didn't want to go beyond what they felt it was worth, which is their prerogative. Maybe they said, if you can get Perisic for 40 million, we'll give you 40 million, but we're not going to give you 50. So it's not like they're not totally backing him. They just weren't willing to go that high. But I don't, I think if Mourinho had had his way, he would have got the winger in. Well, we don't even need to speculate. He would have done. But have we got enough to win the title? I think it's been a very weird and horrible transfer window, and I don't want to dwell on it too much from a United perspective. We will do on That's Football in a minute, but from a United point of view, it's not been great. Have we got everything we need to win this title? Probably not. Have we got enough to win the title? Yes. Leicester won the title 2 years ago, and Leicester's team is far, far worse than the squad that we have. Of course, everybody's improved more. I think if City had got Alexis Sanchez, I think they would have to be installed as favourites just because of the sheer volume of attacking talent they have. And then you add someone like Alexis Sanchez, who's probably arguably one of the best players in the Premier League. They don't have that. And I think when you compare Manchester United to Manchester City, there's an argument to say that City's attacking side is better than ours, but our defensive side is way better than theirs. But also, I think when you go up against each other, and it stops being about football and it starts being about men against men. As I said before, I think United's team is stronger and more streetwise than City is. And Mourinho against Pep, I'm sorry, in the Premier League, it's like you can be whatever you want to be, Pep, but you're in Mourinho's back garden in the Premier League, and he'll school you. And I think he's prepared this year. So I think Manchester United will win the league. I've said that for a long time. I think Manchester United will win the league. And I'm more confident now than I probably was before yesterday. I thought a few deals were going to go against us yesterday with our rivals. That didn't happen. So I think United can win the league. I do think we've got enough. But like last season, I will put up a big red flag and say this. We won the first 3 games last year. We finished 6th. But we finished 6th last year because we were the architects of our own downfall. We dropped so many points at home. We didn't put the ball in the back of the net. And I don't think we'll make that many mistakes this year. But I do think, I suppose it's an obvious conclusion to come to, because you've got 38 games. If you win them all, you win the title. But sometimes you can win a proportion of those games and somebody's better than you. I think this year it will come down to what Manchester United can do. We saw against Leicester, missed the penalty, 20 minutes to go. We still end up winning the game 2-0. And we saw it through with some real perseverance and mental strength and good use of substitutions, which we've seen in every single game. I think it will come down to United again. I think it comes down to what United can do in the difficult games where we might have dropped points last year. I think a prime example is Stoke a week tomorrow. Stoke City away, they took 4 points off us last year. We drew both games. They very nearly beat us in the game at Stoke. It was Rooney's breaking the record, last stoppage time free kick that saved us a point. I think that's the sort of game. It's important against the top sides that we get points, but I think at Old Trafford we'll have no problem. And if you draw away from home, that's fine. But realistically, I think United will be, their title credentials will be judged on whether we can beat teams like Stoke away, which I think we can. So I'm very, very confident that we can do it. Very, very confident. And I'm not disappointed about the window, you and Gordon. So yeah, I mean, let's just talk about Herrera and Lindelof. Lindelof, got no problems with him. I agree with some people saying we've signed 2.5 players. I don't think we really can say that we've signed 3 game-changing transfers. Lukaku and Matic definitely are. Lindelof's struggling to get on the bench at the moment, so he's a bit of a half player at the moment. But I disagreed with a lot of the negativity around Lindelof. I think he will be a good centre-back. I just think he reminds me a lot of like Everett and Vidic when we first signed them, and it was difficult. Like Mourinho said when he signed Carvalho for Chelsea, it took him 6 months. He looked like a fish out of water, and then he became one of the best centre-backs the Premier League's ever had. And I think that's what will happen with Lindelof. I do look at Lindelof at the moment, and I think, God, what is his strength? I know from sort of watching Lindelof a lot before we signed him, because we've been linked to him for about a year now, that he can pass the ball out from the back. He is combative, But in a United shirt, he's not really done enough of that on the ball. He doesn't look particularly dominant in the air. He doesn't look particularly quick. He doesn't look particularly great in the way he reads the game. He looks like a player in a league that's just a bit too quick for him at the moment. But Mourinho scouted him. Mourinho knows what he's doing with centre-backs. And I think Mourinho will sort Lindelof out. I am very confident Lindelof will be a good signing. But let's not forget as well, Jose Mourinho has made 7 signings at Manchester United, and even if Lindelof doesn't work, that is well over like 80% of his signings being good, because Matic and Lukaku have been good, Pogba, Mkhitaryan, Zlatan and Bale have been good. You name me a manager in world football who's nearly got 100% strike rate with their signings being successful signings. Loads and loads of signings are flops. You know, you look at Liverpool and Klopp and what he's done. Loads of flops there. Same at Arsenal, same at Chelsea, same at City, same at Man City as well. At Spurs, sorry. So Mourinho's had a very good strike rate. At some point he will have a flop, but I'm not necessarily saying that Lindelof will be, by the way. And Herrera's got a year left on his contract, and people are getting worried that he's not getting any game time. Our first 3 games of the season have been against teams that we really needed to go on the front foot with. I was very impressed with the game against West Ham when we played Mata and Mkhitaryan, because that was a bit unlike Jose from Christmas to May, where we did go with the 3 midfield. And over these first 3 games of the season, he's gone a little bit more on the front foot, and we've reaped the rewards of that. 10 goals scored, nothing conceded, 9 points, you can't knock it. So Mourinho gets a lot of credit for that. But there are harder challenges ahead. Stoke may be one of those harder challenges where he thinks, I need to play 3 in midfield. Certainly in the Champions League, and certainly when we play teams like Liverpool away, which we've got in October, and when we play some of the other teams like City and Chelsea, we will go with 3 in midfield. He will not go with Mata and Mkhitaryan. They're a bit too lightweight. You need to have the numbers in the midfield. That's when Herrera will play. Herrera, Matic and Pogba as a midfield 3 is an exciting thought, and it's one that we will see. If Herrera was going to leave Manchester United, I think he would have gone last week to Barcelona. I don't think Herrera's leaving United. I think we need to be careful. He's too good to sit on our bench all season, but I don't think that's what will happen, and I think Herrera's aware of that. He was our player of the year effectively last year. Mourinho really likes him. At the moment, he shouldn't be in the team because Matic and Pogba are exceeding what he can do. But injuries, fatigue, different formations, Herrera will be fine. I'd like to see him get a new contract. Aaron Hopley says, what's your thoughts on Wayne Rooney's drink drive thing? To be honest with you, be totally blunt. United, great. United legend, for sure. Not our problem anymore. We don't, if he was in United... If he was still a United player, he's done that on the international break. It's a load of bad publicity for him. It's a load of bad publicity for Manchester United. There have been rumours about Rooney and his drinking, as everybody will be aware of, for the last few years. The reality is he's not a Manchester United player anymore. It's sad, as an ex-Manchester United player, that that's happened. And I'm sad for him because I think he's had a really good start to the season at Everton. And it's a shame that that cloud is over him now. But maybe he should have took the England call up because he would have been on England duty, wouldn't he? And he wouldn't have been out drinking. But that's Rooney for you. And I suppose that's... I think there's less and less of it now in the English game. But you shouldn't be drinking. I know it's international break, but you shouldn't be out drinking to that extent anyway. You're in your 30s. You've always had problems with your physique and your drinking. The foreign players just don't do it. It's big business to them, and they want to look after themselves. But Rooney's from a bit of a bygone era, really. It's sad, is what I would say. Fortune says, I think Griezmann will come next summer. 100%, definitely going to happen. Nihat says, Andreas Pereira at right wing instead of Mata can cross. He's quick and he's tricky. Thought, says Nihat. I would agree, definitely. Football God is saying that Pereira to Valencia is done. It better blooming not be, because that's happened in the last few minutes. I think he must be joking, but yeah, there's nothing about that. I've had that one, but I will always. Luke Amero, subscribe to the new channel. Well, I'll take you all over there in a few minutes' time. The link's in the video description. Got a really good show lined up for you on That's Football, and we'll talk all about that on that show in a few minutes' time. I like Mata, says Shane. He's a solid player. I agree with you. I think Mata's probably one of the most consistent players we've had since Mourinho came. And I do think that Mourinho may have been considering moving him on, but he's so consistent. He's a fantastic player to have as part of the squad. And Mata, I've always loved Mata, but the way he got back fit when he got injured at the start of April with an injury that really would have finished most people's season, and then he's back ready to play before Smalling and Jones was fantastic. Who should get Player of the Month, says Tanisha Roberts. I'll give it Pogba, I think. I think I would give it to Pogba or Matic. I think they've been so consistent. Martial as a sort of token one, I suppose, but he hasn't played enough minutes. Luis Rivera, against bigger teams, Herrera should play. I'd agree with that. How old will Griezmann be by next summer? I think he'll be 27. Stephen Drisaldi says, I'm hearing Perisic will sign in the next 48 hours. And Tom Gerrard wants a recap on Griezmann. So, effectively, Griezmann to Manchester United will happen is the entitlement of this video. This is the United stand, and I present the United stand, and it is my firm opinion that Antoine Griezmann will sign for Manchester United next summer. Not in January. I'm not going to give you that carrot. I purposely waited for the transfer window to close, sorry, so I could do this video, because if I'd done it a week ago, everyone would be saying, oh, you're just trying to get people excited about something that's never going to happen. And it was never going to happen in the last transfer window. It will happen next summer for two reasons for me. One, his agent coming out this week and publicly stating that Griezmann would have come to Manchester United if Atletico Madrid hadn't got the transfer ban. That's massive for his agent to do that publicly. Second, the number 7 shirt is vacant for another year. I understand why it was vacant when Memphis left in January for a few months, but to leave it vacant for a whole season when you could have reallocated it to somebody or you could have signed somebody for it is a massive, massive signal that what's going to happen is what should have happened this summer. Griezmann was coming to United, he was going to wear the number 7, he would have fit it like a glove, and I think we would have run away with the Premier League with him in the team. Playing in behind Lukaku or playing on the left or the right, he can put a cross in. So yeah, it's a shame. I'm not totally happy that he didn't come this year, but if United have sort of got some sort of, I remember this happening with Van Nistelrooy and Sir Alex Ferguson, where Van Nistelrooy was coming to United, he smashed his knee apart and he was out for a year, and Sir Alex Ferguson said to him, look, get yourself back fit and I'll take you. And Ruud Van Nistelrooy was forever in United's debt for that, and he came as soon as he could. And I think that's probably what's happened with Griezmann. I think Mourinho was signing him. I think there has been a discussion, and I think Griezmann said, look, I want to come to United, but I can't leave this club in the lurch. I love Atletico Madrid. They've been really good to me, and if I go, they can't replace me, and I don't feel comfortable doing it. And I'm sure United didn't like that, but I suspect it was like, okay, you go, we'll keep the spot for you, and come next year. And I think Griezmann will be grateful for that, and I think he's definitely going to come to United next summer. You know, I can't say I've spoken to Antoine Griezmann or anything like that, but I'm 100% convinced that he will be a United player next summer. Myself, I'm not totally convinced about how I feel about like that. I think before Griezmann led us up the garden path, I never shut up about Griezmann. I love Griezmann as a player. He's fantastic. I thought he was going to be perfect for Manchester United. But I was very disappointed by the fact that he didn't come this year. I think with a few months' time, I'll probably feel okay about him coming back. Tom Gerrard says, how much for Griezmann? It's back to what it was. All he had when he decided to stay at Atletico Madrid was a big increase in his pay, which, to be fair, Atletico Madrid bloody better give him an increase in his pay for making him stay. And on top of that, his buyout clause increased over this summer only to about 200 million. It drops back in January to the 90. There is a caveat to that I would say that 90 million pounds, I think it is, for Griezmann next summer is pretty much a bargain when you look at what's been happening this summer. Mbappe going for double that. Ousmane Dembele going for about 40 million more than that. So there will be a few suitors out there, and we will be reliant on Griezmann's word and loyalty to Manchester United about he was going to sign this summer. We've hopefully got some sort of agreement with him that we want him next summer. But don't be naive to the fact that Man City, PSG, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Chelsea might sniff around and go, we'll give you this. And then it will come down to Griezmann again. Is he a man of his word and loyal like he seems to be to Atletico Madrid, or is he a snake? We'll see. I think he'll be loyal. I think he will be a United player. But we shall wait and see. Denzel, I'm glad you answered this question. He says, I still don't understand the reasoning behind us not hijacking City's efforts to sign Alexis Sanchez. What did I say all summer? I would have welcomed Alexis Sanchez to Manchester United, but the one thing I was always consistent about is I never felt that Alexis Sanchez wanted to come to Manchester United. And if he wanted to come to Manchester United, he had to force the move. He clearly, and I kept saying this, I think he'll go to City. He clearly wanted to go to City. He clearly wanted to go. Well, who wants to go to Manchester City? They can't even fill their own ground. They didn't even exist 20 years ago. Nobody's dream is to go and play for Manchester City. If you think of Manchester, it's Manchester United or nobody. The only reason he wants to go to Man City is because Pep Guardiola is the manager and he's played with him before, and they'll give him a lot of money. And that is the story of the summer. It really is. The story of the summer is mercenary footballers will go anywhere to earn money. Neymar to PSG, Mbappe to PSG, and Sanchez would have gone to City for the money and to play with bold Pep, who I just want to say about Guardiola that if I ever hear the press say that Mourinho doesn't play the youth or is a checkbook manager again, I am going to just laugh. And I implore all you lot to laugh as well, because Manchester City have let a young lad, Sacco, go, not Sacco, I forget, my mind's gone completely blank. Oh, I should know that. He plays with Angel Gomez in the England youth setup, and he's arguably better than Angel Gomez. There was even talk that he might come to Manchester United. He's gone to Dortmund. Fantastic talent. He was at Manchester City, and that's Pep for you in his promotion of youth. Brilliant, isn't it? And you know. And just signing players all over the place. So Pep Guardiola wears the Sancho, sorry, says Fionn Curtin, that's the one. So Pep Guardiola, the press and how they climb up his backside makes me sick. I'm sure it makes them sick as well. But apart from that, the reality is that Pep Guardiola is the crown king of not playing the youth and the checkbook manager, and he wears the crown to cover his bald head because Mourinho has played the youth. He's cultivating our youth. Look at Fosu Mensah, brilliant for Netherlands last night. He's played 3 games in a row for Crystal Palace in the Premier League. He's the youth. Look at what he did with Pereira last year. Look at what he's doing with Rashford. Look at what he's doing with Twan-Sebi. Mourinho's doing great things with the youth, and he's not really been that. I mean, he has spent money. He was always going to spend money, but Pep Guardiola, 100%. 100% a checkbook manager, desperate, absolutely desperate to try and buy some success, because he's been absolutely exploited by the fact that if you took Messi away, he never would have even had a career. Totally and utterly. Right. Thanks everyone for watching. This is the exciting bit. Right, so what's going to happen is, this is the end of the United Stand show for tonight. We will be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock with the normal Saturday night live show, exclusively interacting with the live comments. So looking forward to that tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. But for now, we did a pilot this afternoon. That's football. If you don't know what it is, or you're curious what it is, the link is in video description. I'll be literally over there in about 3 minutes time, starting a stream on That's Football channel, discussing who won the transfer window in the Premier League and who lost. Obviously Manchester United will be part of that, but I think I've got an interesting theory on who won the transfer window in the Premier League. Link in the video description. I want as many people from the United Stand to get over there. There's going to be daily content on That's Football. I'm going to be on there. There's going to be other people on there as well. Click the link in the video description. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you there in about a couple of minutes time, and I want to get loads of people over from the United Stand, because there's going to be, if you like football like I do, the United Stand is about Manchester United. Manchester United will be mentioned on That's Football. We're going to go bigger than that. We're going to be talking about lots of things. Like this afternoon I was talking about PSG and how they're destroying football, laughing a bit about Arsenal, lots and lots of topical things, lots and lots of topical ideas. Get over there, give it a show, give it a chance. Eric the King 68 says sold out. Have a sold out when we own the bloody channel, you prat. I mean, come on, give it a chance. We own That's Football. It's part of the United Stand thing. We've created it. How are we selling out? Oh, God. Where's the moderators? Where's the bloody moderators? Anyway, I shall see you over there. Those people who like football, leave Eric the King or whatever his name is watching the Bake Off or whatever it is he wants to watch. But the link's in the video description. I'm going to be live there in about 60 seconds now because I spent 2 minutes talking about it. I'll speak to you soon. Thanks everybody for watching the United Stand. We will be back at 8 o'clock tomorrow on the United Stand. But pop over to That's Football. Really, really interesting theory on who won the transfer window. I'll speak to you in a minute.